Hello, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. My name is Ezra Pasak. I'm a biocreator and software developer at RCSB PDB. Uh, this presentation is intended to talk about where the PDB archive is going in terms of the accession codes and how you can get in on the game early on, so to speak. So, a bit of history. The Protein Data Bank was the first open access digital data resources in biology, founded around 1971. One of the next ones, but I know of, it was a yeast genome project. So this is a single global archive for protein and DNA structures, DNA, RNA, protein, DNA, RNA experimental structures. We provide free access to over 250,000 structures, no charge. You're free to do whatever you want with the data, so to speak. Uh, we are PDB is a part of a partnership of the Worldwide PDB, which was founded by three entities: the RCS PDB, PDBe, and in Europe, and PDBJ in Japan. Um, I want to mention that Deborah, uh, I can't pronounce your last name, Harris is on, and she is from Protein Data Bank Europe, PDBe, in case she wants to make any comments and see or have any feedback later on. Uh, Newer members of the wwPDB include BMRB, which is focused mainly on NMR data, EMDB, which is electron microscopy database, and then we have an associate member of PDBc, which is located in China. So I look at this from the point of view as writing a journalist. What's the who, what, where, why, when, what's going on. The Protein Data Bank has traditionally used four-letter accession codes, one ABC, four HHB, to represent the structures. We are running out of these four-character IDs. We expect, we don't know what's going to happen precisely, but we expect by the end of 2027, we're going to run out of these IDs, identifiers. So we are creating a new format, which is 12 characters long, and I'll explain that later on, what we're calling an extended PDB ID. We are creating a beta archive now that users could start updating their software to use the data from this archive uh, and transition to using where the future will be. Uh, if you so part of the hope with this is that if you are using any type of automated process to download entries for analysis, we would like you to start moving over to using the extended PDB ID format and start modifying your pipelines not to use the legacy PDB format, but to use PDBx mmCIF formatted files. So at the high level, the accession code will look very similar. We are adding in a PDB underscore. We're adding four alphanumeric characters in front of where we are current IDs, but we're going to start filling these in. So in 3 years, it might start PB underscore 100, and then who knows, whatever the four characters will be there. One of the reasons for this was that it's hard for us to figure out if a publication is using a PDB structure because there's overlap in other fields. So consider the PDB accession code 3GHZ, it's 3 gigahertz. So if you wind up in various fields, it might be a false positive. So this will allow us to give a better way of accounting for it. Anything that's existing IDs, that's sort of small, say four characters, will be converted. So in the case of above, 1ABC was converted to PDB underscore 0001ABC. Right now, the rcsb.org website supports for you to be able to search for these extended IDs, and we are displaying them both on the search result page. I assume that PDBe has a plan. Deborah, do you want to say anything about it? Putting you on the spot. Okay. I'm sure they will be various partners will start transitioning also in the near future to supporting these extended IDs. Uh, One thing that will come about because of this is that the legacy PDB format, which we all love, will be frozen. Uh, it cannot support these extended PDB IDs and various records within the file. So we are going to be essentially abandoning them. However, if you have a PDB formatted file right now, it'll still be available in this archive in the future, but we want people to move away from it. So we're going to essentially freeze it, that we're not going to be updating anymore. That once we do this transition, the PDB files will be there, but they will never be updated again. Uh, But as I've been saying, that right now, even before we get to the extended PDB IDs, there's some files right now that can only be represented in PDBx mmCIF format for a variety of reasons, including the number of polymer chains, number of atoms, uh, and various other criteria. And right now, there's over 12,000 entries that you cannot access in a PDB formatted file. So we hope that you want to transition. And this is just for historical reference. The earliest data at the PDB was from key punch cards. No whiteout. You make a mistake, you type again, although computers could generate the output. So if you're not familiar with PDBx mmCIF format, uh, we have been trying to encourage, oh, someone,
That's just
ah,
me as we're dropping the link.
okay, okay. We have put together a user guide and various help guides. You could use this QR code uh, or the link that was just put in the chat. The PBX mmCIF format is a human and machine readable format, but it's easily extensible to support new experimental methods as they come about uh, in a structured way. It's controlled by a dictionary, so you know what each field is really supposed to represent. It is currently supported by many refinement and visualization software programs, so you are not limited to just import using a PDB formatted file. Many of them will now support the PDBx mmCIF. And we are encouraging everyone to start moving to there as soon as possible. Uh, if you're a data depositor or a data user, what you could do right now is check to make sure your software will work with this format. If there's something that's not, you can always talk to the developers and tell them what's coming about. We want you to use the extended PDB ID formats in manuscripts and communications, uh, and stop using legacy PDB format. If you're a software developer, uh, you could start, as we said, start switching over and using this PDBx mmCIF format. And journal editors, viewers, we've updated the DOIs and slightly different format. And this is what the format is going to look like in the future. So how will this archive change? So we are going to put together right now what we're calling a beta archive. This is a rearrangement of the current data in a format that we expect to support into the future. We're going to make it publicly available. When we run out of the four-character PDB IDs, which will be around end of 2027, 2028, this archive will become the public archive. So this is another reason why we want you to start using the beta archive when it's available, because then your software, if you're doing anything automatic like downloading files and doing for analysis, it'll continue to work as we do this transition. We'll keep the old beta archive name around, but you'll be pointing to the public archive. So this is trying to minimize the impact when this transition happens, when all of a sudden we do this and people are saying, I can't find these files anymore. My scripts are no longer working. That's part of why we're trying to get this out there now. Uh, so the layout is similar to Virgin Archive. I'll show you an example in the next slide or two. Uh, if you're using the archive using, HTML based one, there are new layout patterns. We will eventually at RCSB PDB change the file download access APIs to handle this transparently, where you don't need to worry about hashes and things like that, directory layouts, but we're not there yet on that front. So to give you an example, I'll show you the current layout versus the beta one. So in the current layout, everything is under, you go to the site, say files.wwPDB.org, it goes pub PDB, and then you'll have our reference data, which has all the definitions of the various chemical components. In the new organization, it is recognized that the the reference data does not belong purely to the PDB, but to the whole wwPDB. It's used by EMDB, it's used by BMRB, so it should be at a higher level so that things have moved up. So we introduced a new level, which is really saying that this all the protein data bank is part of the worldwide PDB and separating out the data this way. In the old layout, we separate the coordinates from the experimental data. So, you know, PDB data structure is divided, and then mmCIF, or we have structure factors, but they're totally separate trees. In the new layout, everything is under the entry. So we are going WPDB data entries are hash, PDB, whatever, and then you'll have things underneath it, including both the experimental data and the coordinate file. So if this is just showing an example of what we're doing in development right now, but in terms of layout, you can see that under this, first of all, the hash is going to be the second and third characters from the end. So we can divide up the archive in this fashion. That's similar. That's essentially what we're doing now. But when you only have four characters, whether you go from the left or from the right, it makes no difference. Now it's always going to be from the right. Uh, but underneath this entry, we now going to have subdirectories which involve structures, and this is the coordinates in PDBx mmCIF. It would be coordinates in PDBML format, assembly data. We have the experimental data. We have validation reports, and as said, assemblies separated out. So once the beta site is announced, which should be in a matter of weeks, we encourage people to start trying to use the beta site for automatic tasks as soon as possible. So we have some public resources available talking about everything which I've just described in more details. And as more questions come about, we update it. This QR code will get you to the site, which is on the www.pdb.org site, describing what we're doing. Uh, as I said, we expect in early February that this should be available. But if you send me an email, with any other questions or asking me to let you know when the beta archive is available to the public, I'll send you an email message to explain you how you could access it. You could use it, what method, what protocols you could use to download files, and any other additional help that we have.